Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you my tips how to learn and use phrasal verbs, because phrasal verbs are an integral part of English language. But despite that fact, I don't actually like phrasal verbs. Not only because they have multitude meanings, but also these native speakers pronounce them so quickly, so I frequently can't understand what's actually going on, and I like, well, your speech is cool, but I didn't get nothing. And if you really want to improve your English, and I'm sure that phrasal verbs could do that, continue watching this video and watch this video up to the very end, because at the end of this video I will tell you one little secret that will help you to expand your knowledge of the phrasal verbs. So let's move on. First and foremost, you should understand that there are two classifications of the phrasal verbs: separable and inseparable phrasal verbs and transitive and intransitive phrasal verbs. Let's start with the transitive and intransitive. Don't think a lot about that, this is pretty simple. Transitive phrasal verbs are phrasal verbs that require additional object or person after the phrasal verbs. For instance, let's take a look at the phrase look up to, which means respect or admire. You couldn't say, yesterday I looked up to. It makes no sense, right? You should say, I look up to that person, which means that you actually respect this person. And intransitive phrasal verbs are phrasal verbs that were good on their own. For instance, wake up, get up. You could say, I woke up this morning and it would be good, which means that you open your eyes and that's great. And separable and inseparable phrasal verbs. Separable phrasal verbs are phrasal verbs that could be separated. You could change the order of the parts of these phrasal verbs. For instance, let's take a look at the phrasal verb take on. Take on the project, which means that you start working with that project. You could say, I took the project on, or I took on the project. And it would be great on both ways. So you could change the order of the parts of the phrasal verbs. And inseparable phrasal verbs don't have that opportunity, and you couldn't change the order of the phrasal verbs. For instance, let's take a look at the same look up to. You couldn't say, I look this person up to, or I look up this person to. It makes no sense. You should keep the order and say, I look up to my father, for instance. Well, let's start with my tips how to actually learn and use phrasal verbs. Never ever learn them from this big, long list of phrasal verbs. I made this mistake a lot of time, and it took me a lot of blood, sweat and tears to do that. Because even if you learned all of that phrases, you will never use them, and in this way you will never remember them. My recommendation is to learn phrasal verbs either from the context or from the specific topics. Or maybe you can learn them from YouTube videos where they are logically connected. I do that sometimes. Well, for example, you want to learn a topic, traveling. Learn all phrasal verbs that include this topic. Or for instance, while you are reading something in English or listening to someone in English, you can also find some phrasal verbs. Write them down on the piece of the paper and learn them. And don't forget to look at how they actually work in the context. So, you have created your list of the phrasal verb that you should learn. What's next? If you watched the video about studying technique on my channel, you probably heard something about spaced repetition and flashcards. If not, I'm gonna explain it in this video. Download the app like Anki app or Quizlet, and we're gonna use them to create specific flashcards that will help you to improve your knowledge of the phrasal verbs. Actually, you can use this app for whatever you like, whatever information that you should learn. But for now, I'm talking about phrasal verbs. I'm gonna create these cards in specific ways. On the one side of the flashcard, I'm writing down the verb and 3 points after that so that I don't write the preposition. Also, I'm giving a little context to that card. For example, take the project. On the next side of the card, I'm writing down the whole phrasal verb. The next step is to create a little crazy story with these new phrasal verbs. Don't forget to repeat the phrases from the flashcards. And now let's take a look at this little secret. I decided to create one challenge where you will have the opportunity to learn 50 new phrasal verbs in just 10 days. I'm gonna upload video in YouTube Shorts every single day where I'm gonna explain 5 new phrasal verbs. And this challenge is actually cool because at the end of these 10 days, I'm gonna upload one video test when you're gonna have the opportunity to actually repeat all these phrasal verbs and actually consolidate the knowledge of these phrasal verbs. That was everything for today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that this video will help you to learn new phrasal verbs. And click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and see y'all in the next video. Bye!